In today's video, I want to go over something that's a little bit disappointing. I mean, it's something I think a lot of us are expecting with the acquisition of Bethesda and ZeniMax by Microsoft, but the future of Bethesda games on PlayStation is not looking very great, and it looks like PS5 might miss out on some significant upgrades of games that were already released on the PS4. We'll talk about that. And also, Jim Ryan noted something pretty interesting about PlayStation 5. He said that he believes PlayStation 5 sales to surpass 7.5 million units in less than 5 months, beating initial PS4 sales. Now, I think it'll crack 7.5 million no problem in 5 months. However, that tells me that there might be fewer PlayStation 5s than we had initially expected, because if you're expecting to sell 7.5 million, like, look, all the PS5s that go to the store are gonna get sold. Like, the hype for this console is insane, but 7.5 million to me is honestly shooting kind of low, and that to me tells me that 7.5 million might be around how many PS5s will be in the wild in 5 months. So it's an interesting note regarding production. We'll talk that in just a little bit. But first of all, PlayStation 5 could be losing out on upgraded versions of past Bethesda games. This was noted over on IGN, and they have spotted ESRB ratings for next-gen collections of Dishonored, Wolfenstein, and Prey. They specifically note ESRB now lists a Dishonored and Prey Arcane collection. Of course, both those games were done by Arcane. I imagine that would be Dishonored 2, the standalone expansion, which I totally forget the name of right now. Is it Death of the Outsider? I think it's Death of the Outsider. I don't remember. That was a few years ago. And Prey, of course, I consider that to be one of the most underrated games of this generation. Fantastic title. And if we could get both of those games on next gen at, 4K 60 FPS, that would be fantastic. But at this point, both that collection and the Wolfenstein Alternate History collection are purely listed for Xbox Series X and Series S, with no PlayStation 5 listing to be found, leading a lot of people to believe that the game will in fact only be released on PlayStation, or I should say only on Xbox Series S and X, which is so disappointing. I mean, the game's already out on PS4, you're just gonna lock away the upgraded version, but hey, when you spend that kind of money on a studio like Bethesda, you gotta get your money's worth out of them, and if that means locking away upgrades for PlayStation consumers, I understand why they're doing it. I mean, wasn't it like $7.5 billion that they paid for the acquisition of ZeniMax? That is just an absurd amount of money. Get this. The UFC, the entire entity of the UFC was sold in 2016 for $4 billion, and Microsoft spent damn near double that to acquire Bethesda. How absurd is that? That's absolutely crazy. I believe Star Wars' acquisition was around the $4 billion mark as well. Might have actually been less than that. Let's actually look that up right now. How much Star Wars acquisition price? That is, well, $4 billion. Okay, $4 billion in 2012 to acquire Lucasfilm, and yeah, we're getting Bethesda acquired by Microsoft for $7.5 billion, which is absurd, but now that they have them in their back pocket, that is an absolutely enormous acquisition by them, and if they want to get the most out of it, hey, that does mean locking out games from going to the PlayStation 5, even if it's something as simple as upgrades of games that already exist. If you want those upgrades, it looks like you might have to get a Series S or a Series X. Alright, moving on from that, I want to note something pretty quick. PlayStation President and CEO Jim Ryan predicts that PlayStation 5 will surpass 7.5 million units in less than 5 months after its launch. The executive said so in a recent interview with Korean website Naver, and he noted, "The second pre-order in Korea is scheduled for noon on Wednesday, October 7th. We think the PS5 will sell more in its first fiscal year than it sold in the first fiscal year at the time of the PS4 launch." Noted on WCCF Tech, as reported by Sony in its fiscal year 13 earnings release, the year which the PlayStation 4 was released, 7.5 million PS4 units were sold between the consoles released back in November of 2013 and March 31st. So according to the CEO, Sony expects sales to surpass that number, and I think that is an absolutely easy number to obliterate. I feel, anecdotally speaking, the hype for the PlayStation 5 is way greater than the hype for the PlayStation 4. Social media metrics only tell you so much, but you look at some of the PlayStation 5 social media metrics, and they are so absurdly high that you have to look at it and just ascertain the fact that this console has an enormous amount of hype. Just simple things like the goddamn logo breaking the likes record on Instagram, the view count on the trailer of Miles Morales on the official YouTube channel for the PlayStation. I mean, those numbers are staggeringly high, and I don't remember seeing that kind of Social media buzz when the PlayStation 4 was coming around. Obviously, the 2013 social media climate is different than the 2020 social media climate, but even then, the numbers are so absurdly high that I think this console is going to do incredibly well. And unless it's a shortage of units, I think 7.5 million would be absolutely easy to hit. So that's going to conclude this video. Again, as far as upgrades, it looks like PlayStation 5 might lose on a couple big ones in regards to Bethesda games, and PS5 to sell more than 7.5 million units in less than 5 months. I think that is going to be easy as cake. But to me, it really comes down to how many units exactly are there going to be available in the first 5 months. We'll keep an eye out on that. That's going to wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.